Hey everyone, welcome to another video on the Thomas Bloom's channel. Today we are going to talk about strawberries. So I picked up some strawberries yesterday and today, and some I wanted to get as replacements for some of the strawberries that died in my strawberry tube. If you remember from last year, oops, sorry, just had to get it adjusted. If you remember from last year, I had 4 tubes stacked, held on by rope, and this year I've separated them in half. They're at the back, right behind here, and I put some mulch on them over the winter time, hoping to preserve them. And for the most part, most of them did survive. They're starting to come through now. I see a little bit of greenery. Unfortunately, 3 died. So a little bit more. I mean, 1, yeah, 2, no problem, but 3 for me, not acceptable. So I'm going to have to do a better job next year of winterizing them. But, so I got these. And I got this at a local garden center. I'm not going to tell you which one, since it was quite overpriced. So I got 3 of these at $6. Okay, so for me, for strawberry starters, that's too much money. Okay, you could say it's the pandemic, the supply chain shortage. In my opinion, it's not, but that's what they're using that's what they're saying for the reasons, and it is what it is. I've called other garden centers, and they're offering the same type for like $1 less, or maybe $1.50 less, or whatever. But one of my concerns is that in my calls around to the major garden stores around Toronto was that all the strawberries were the same. And what I mean by that is that you might have different species of strawberry, and you may have like the funky ones, like they offer the albino strawberry, which is all white, or the rainbow strawberry that's multiple colors. But it's all the same type. It's called everbearing. And there are 3 types of strawberries, or varieties of strawberries: everbearing, day neutral, and June bearing. Okay, so over here I have all 3 types of strawberries. I got these ones right here that you can see right here, and there's 3 of them in here. I don't know. Yep, right there. I got these from a local community garden out in Scarborough. People there were selling them, and they just dig with your trowel. As long as you could get it out of the ground, $2 per strawberry plant. And they're 2 years old right now. So I was like, sweet. So for the price of 2 of these, I could get 6, no problem. The other reason why I wanted to get the different varieties, well, let me backtrack. The other varieties are not available in the stores. I was calling around, and I'm not going to say the names. You guys can pretty much know, if you guys know garden centers in your area. They do have the strawberries there, but they're all everbearing. There are no day neutrals, and there's no June bearings. So I'm going to do a quick little intro on what those varieties are and what they do. And I talked about them last year, but I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail this year. Okay, so I'm going to start with a store-bought one. So this is a everbearing. And based on the title, you might think, okay, well, they just bear strawberries all the time. They're everbearing. But no, that's not what it means. Everbearing basically is strawberries that bloom in the spring and in the late fall. Sorry, not late fall, but in the middle of fall. So you're going to get strawberries from everbearing in June for about 3 weeks, maybe 1 more week. And then you're going to get strawberries in September in zone 5. Okay, just to be clear. So if you're in different zones, different heat temperatures, it will come at different times. But basically, it blooms twice per growing season. Okay, so that's what everbearing is. Now, day neutrals are ones that produce all the time. They produce strawberries. Just as long as the conditions are right to bloom from the flowering, then they will make strawberries until they can't. So those are the ones that that under the right circumstances bloom and make strawberries every day, every other day, every third day, whatever it is, however it takes for them to create the strawberries. Those are the always bearing of strawberries. And the June bearing, well, that goes without saying. It's in June. They bloom for about 3 weeks, and then that's it. So last year I had all everbearing. Okay, and it was all right. You know, some did well, some didn't do as well. But, you know, I just want to do something different this year. So this year I'm going to do 3 June bearings and 3 day neutrals. And I'm going to put them in these trusty guys right here. So 3 per, okay? And I'm just going to track them. I'm just going to see how well they do. Just for a little bit of information's sake, the strawberries you see in the grocery store, they are all June bearing. Okay, so the June bearing, because it only does once per grow season, they will produce the biggest strawberries. Depending on the type, they may not be as sweet, because sometimes the bigger the strawberry gets, the less sweet it gets. The smaller the berry, usually the more sugars are locked in and the more sweeter it tastes. Okay, so just to provide some clarification, because I know I talked about day neutral and everbearing. Now, for those older seeds, so a lot of strawberries right now are being genetically modified to handle colder climates, to produce more. To be more hardy, more mildew resistant, more pest resistant, that kind of thing. So what this has done is it's the day neutral for new varieties that are everbearing or day neutral. The two concepts of day neutral and everbearing sort of like mold together. Okay, so that's why sometimes you'll see under the same type of strawberry, you'll either hear everbearing or day neutral. Because if it's a new strawberry type, it's almost the same thing. Okay, so if you want to have like true day neutrals or true everbearings, get an older seed type or an older variety of your strawberry. Okay, so just as an FYI. Also, what's happening with strawberries now genetically is because they're being pushed to produce more, the lifespan of your strawberry is cut. So before you were able to get at least maybe 4 years of grow from your strawberries, now you're going to get 2 or 3. It may not be a big deal for you guys, but for other people that may be a big deal. Okay, and what I'm going to do from this is with these strawberries is that because the trend now I'm seeing in the stores is to not give you those June bearing or those day neutrals, I'm going to harvest the seeds from the strawberries so that I could create a continuous grow with the seeds. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that. I'll do a video later on the season on how I'm going to do that so that you guys can learn how to do that too. Okay, and one other tip that I'm going to do with my strawberries, just give me a second here, is that I'm going to use this. Now ignore the gratuitous product promotion here, but this is acid-specific soil. Okay, now you heard me talk about that last week when I talked about the ash. So acid-specific soil is specifically for, whoops, let me just move that. It's specifically for berries, blackberry, raspberry, currant, strawberry, blueberry. They love acid soil. So I bought a bag just for that. I mean, I could have made my own, but I really wanted the acid soil in here because these guys are locked in its own little thing, so I wanted it to have the most optimal environment for it. So a little bit more acid to help generate that bloom. What happens is that if your soil is at the right acidity level, especially blueberries too. I had experienced this last year. So they'll grow, they'll flower, they'll get all leafy, they'll get nice and green, they'll look great, but they don't have the soil optimal conditions to flower and then bloom into the blueberries or strawberries or raspberries. Okay, so the extra acid in your soil really helps with that. So I can't be too sorry. I'm going to be very clear on that. The more acid that you have in your soil, I say a pH scale about 5.5 to 6.5, no more than that. but if you're in that on the acid side, you're good. Okay, so so that's what I'm going to do right now. So just to give you a heads up on the date, I believe it's the 25th of April. My dates are off. Oh, it's the 24th. So it's a Sunday. And we've had a gorgeous day today. Unfortunately, I'm doing this at the end of the day because I was so busy doing all the fun stuff that I wanted to do. But I'm going to be making my strawberries right now, and then I'm going to show you a final little, okay, here's how it looks. One final thing is bone meal. I love bone meal. You've heard me talk about that many times. Because these strawberries are dug up out of the ground, I'm going to pop them right away, but I'm going to put a lot of bone meal underneath the roots because some of the roots may have got damaged, they may have got ripped out. I did my best to sort of cover it, or to cover as much ground as possible so I didn't have to like do any root damage. But the bone meal underneath will help with the roots, root development, root strength, and also reduce the amount of transplant shock. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to cut out from now, and then the next time you see me is going to be when the the strawberries are all done. Okay, so just I'll catch you in just 1 second. Okay. Okay, we're back. So I just planted them. I left the everbearing in their little trays just because I'm going to take care of that another time. I'm going to have to put it in the tube. That's going to take a little bit more work. But for now, just want to show you. Here's what they look like. Hold on, let me do a close-up. So these are June bearing. Whoops. Okay. Now they're looking a little rough because I took them out of the ground. They still have some stems from runners. They're just left to go in this garden. So they have some stems from runners and they have some stems from some actual strawberries. So I may have to do some cleaning up. I may even lose one or two. I don't know. It's hopefully they will take, but it will. They're pretty hardy, so they will stand the test of time for the most part. I may lose some of the plant. I'm not sure, but I think it'll be okay. But here's what they look like for now. And then here, oh sorry, those June bearings were called Vestas. Okay, now these are called Charlottes. These are day neutrals. Okay, so they look really nice. I got these from the ground too. They're in much better condition. But that's basically it, guys. So I'm just going to take care of the other strawberries another time. I will do an update on the strawberry tower that I have. But in the meantime, that's basically it. I'm going to keep the strawberries in there. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to write down which ones are which so I know. But basically, that's all you need to know about strawberries, really. Now, the one thing I haven't discussed is fertilization. If you have the right acid soil, you don't necessarily need fertilization, but every plant can benefit from some fertilization. So I might put some dehydrated chicken poop in there later, or just put like a liquid in there, like liquid once it's got established. I usually wait until they get over the transplant shock, then I put the stuff in. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or have anything that you want to say, feel free to leave me a question in the comments. So this is Thomas Bloom signing off. Hopefully you guys have a good day. All right, take care. Bye.